For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts rise?
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama on the grounds that the electoral votes were not, under all of the known circumstances, regularly given, and that the electors were not lawfully certified, especially given the confirmed and illegal activities engaged by the government of Russia designed to interfere with our election, and the widespread violations of the Voting Rights Act that unlawfully suppressed thousands of votes in the state of Alabama.
Debate allowed. Section 15 and 17 of Title III of the United States Code require that any objection be presented in writing, signed by both members of the House of Representatives and both member of the House of Representatives and a senator. Is the objection in writing and signed not only by the member of the House of Representatives, but also by a senator?
Mr. President, the objection is in writing, signed by a member of the House of Representatives, but not yet by a member of the United States Senate.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained. For what purpose? For what purpose does the member rise?
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified because they violated Florida's prohibition against dual office holding.
Debate is out of order. Section 15 and 17 of the Title III of the United States Code require that any objection be presented in writing, signed by both members of the House of both a member of the House of Representatives and a senator. Is the objection in writing and signed not only by the member of the House of Representatives, but also by a senator?
It is in writing, Mr. President.
Is it signed by a senator?
Not as of yet, Mr. President.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained.
Thank you.
Senator Gorbachev.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Georgia seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of New York received 16 votes for president, and Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana received 16 votes for vice president.
What purpose does the gentlewoman rise?
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not...
There's no debate. Section 15 and 17 of Title III of the United States Code require that any objection be presented in writing, signed by both a member of the House of Representatives and a senator. Is the objection in writing and not only signed by the member, but by a United States senator?
Mr. President, even as people waited hours in Georgia...
There is no debate. And if there's not signed by a senator, the objection cannot be entertained.
Mr. President, the objection is signed by a member of the House, but not yet by a member of the Senate.
Well, it is over.
Mr. President.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California rise?
Mr. President, I object because people are horrified by the overwhelming evidence of Russian interference in our elections.
The United States Code prohibits debate in the joint session. The gentlewoman, Section 15 and 17 of the the U.S. Code require any objection be presented in writing, signed by both members of the House and a member of the Senate. Is of the objection in writing not only by the member of the House, but also by a senator.
Mr. President, even with the malfunction of 87 voting machines that predominantly and grave concern.
The objection cannot be entertained. Prepared to proceed with the count. Senator Gorbachev.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Minnesota seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Hillary Clinton of the state of New York received 10 votes for president, and Tim Kaine of the Commonwealth of Virginia received 10 votes for vice president.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Mississippi seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of New York received 6 votes for president, and Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana received 6 votes for vice president.
Senator Blunt.
Mr. President,
For
the
what purpose
certificate.
does the gentlewoman from Texas rise?
Mr. President, I object.
Under Section
Mr. President, I object on
1517,
the massive voter suppression that
debate is not in
included.
order. Debate is not in order. The gentlewoman will suspend. Section 15 and 17 of Title III of the U.S. Code require that any objection be presented in writing and signed by both a member
Mr.
of the
President,
House of Representatives
I have an objection.
and a senator. Is it signed by a United States senator?
Yet, we're seeking
Well,
a United
in
States
that case, the
senator.
objection cannot be entertained. We'll proceed with the count.
President,
Blunt.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Missouri seems to be regular in form and authentic.
Vice
What
President.
purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I object to a certificate from the state of North Carolina based on violations of the Voting
There is
Rights
no
Act
debate.
and
There is no
confirmed hacking
debate
by
in
the...
the joint session. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Is there a signature from a senator?
There is a signature from the House of Representatives, myself,
The
and no
objection
signature
cannot
at
be
this point.
received without a signature from the senator. The clerk will continue the tally. What purpose, the gentleman?
Mr. President, I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina because of the massive voter suppression and the closing of voting.
There is no debate. There is no debate. There is no debate. The gentleman will suspend. As the chair has previously ruled, a signature from a senator is required.
Signature for myself, not yet a signature from a
Objection
senator, which
cannot
we
be
are seeking.
received. The clerk will continue the count. Mr. Brady. What purpose does the gentlewoman from Texas rise?
Mr. President, I object to the votes for South Carolina because
As the
of the
chair has
Russian
previously
intrusion
ruled-
into the elect.
There is no debate in the joint session. Debate will suspend. The chair has previously ruled a senator is required to be signed on as well. Is there objection?
President, I have it in writing and now seeking a signature from a
The
United States
objection
senator.
cannot be received.
I thank you.
Senator Klobuchar. For what purpose does the gentleman from California rise?
Mr. President, I object on behalf of the millions of Americans, including members of the intelligence community.
There is no debate. Debate is prohibited. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. The objection cannot be sustained unless one is available.
Mr. President, despite grave concerns of the intelligence.
Objection cannot be received. Senator Klobuchar. Senator Klobuchar, will continue the tally.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Wisconsin seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of New York received 10 votes for president, and Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana received 10 votes for vice president.
What purpose does the gentleman from Texas rise?
Mr. President, I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally
No
certified or
debate. Does the gentlelady, does she? Please come to order. The chair has previously ruled suspend. The gentlewoman will suspend. As the chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Is there such a signature?
President, I do have a written document with
The
my
objection
signature on it
cannot be
seeking a
received.
senator, but the Russian
The clerk will continue to call the roll. We'll continue the tally. That's it, right?
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Wyoming seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Donald J. Trump of the state of New York received 3 votes for president, and Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana received 3 votes for vice president.
For what purpose does the gentlewoman from California rise?
I do not wish to debate
I wish to ask, is there one United States Senator who will join me in this letter of
There's no
objection?
debate. There's no debate. The gentlewoman will suspend. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Objection cannot be received. Mr. Blunt.
Mr. President, the undersigned, Roy Blunt and Amy Klobuchar, tellers on the part of the Senate, Greg Harper and Robert A. Brady, tellers on the part of the House of Representatives, report the following as the result of the ascertainment and counting of the electoral vote for President and Vice President of the United States for the term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2017.
The state of the vote for President of the United States as delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538, of which a majority is 270. Donald Trump of New York has received, for President of the United States, 304 votes. Hillary Clinton of the state of New York has received 227 votes. Colin Powell from the Commonwealth of Virginia has received 3 votes. John Casey of the state of Ohio has received 1 vote. Ron Paul of the state of Texas has received 1 vote. Bernie Sanders of the state of Vermont has received 1 vote. Faith Spotted Eagle of the state of South Dakota has received 1 vote. The state of the vote for Vice President of the United States as delivered to the President of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538, of which 270 is a majority. Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana has received for Vice President of the United States 305 votes. Tim Kaine of the Commonwealth of Virginia has received 227. There will be order. President Arms will remove. From the gallery. In order. The Commonwealth of Virginia has received 227 votes. Elizabeth Warren of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts received 2. Maria Cantwell of the state of Washington has received 1. Susan Collins of the state of Maine has received 1. Carly Fiorina of the Commonwealth of Virginia has received 1. The Sergeant at Arms will remove the protesters from the gallery. The chamber will be in order. The change will be in order. Clerk. Winona LaDuke of the state of Minnesota has received 1 vote. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed sufficient declaration of the persons elected President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2017, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the Journal of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The purpose of this joint session having been concluded, pursuant to the Senate Concurrent Resolution 2 of the 115th Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Hi everybody, my name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News. Thanks very much for tuning in. So I really wanted to make this video. I cut it all up yesterday, and then I didn't make an on-camera video, and then I deleted all the work I did, so I had to recut it all up and put it back together today. Because I really want to post this video, otherwise I wouldn't do it. And I think that this is really important to see what's happening here. Is that these members of Congress, members of the House of Representatives, representatives in a representative government are standing up to say millions of the people who we represent are outraged by this election and believe that there should be more discussion on it and we're here to represent them. Meanwhile, senators, who all they need is one senator's signature, for which then they will pause this public joint session of Congress, and they will debate. They will debate what it is that they think is wrong, and if there's enough members who agree that something's wrong, then they'll nominate another person. Now, one of the reasons the Democrats may not have said anything, have signed the petition that says, you know, hey, this isn't right. One of the reasons is Democratic senators may not have done that is because the truth is the Republicans would like nothing more than for Donald Trump presidency to be made null and void. The Republicans would love that, because then they get to nominate someone else, and the people that they'd really like to see in charge would be Mike Pence or Paul Ryan or some other establishment cunt like that. And that's really fucking scary. So, and from now on, I'm going to refer to Mike Pence as Donald Trump's butt buddy, because I can't think of anything that Mike Pence would probably less like to be referred to as than Donald Trump's butt buddy. So from now on, Mike Pence is Donald Trump's butt buddy in any of my future videos, so you know. But the idea of Donald Trump's butt buddy becoming president is sickening for a number of different reasons, besides the fact that he's a low-life scumbag piece of shit. He didn't win the election as president, which means he could run for 2 more terms, which means he could be president for 12 years instead of 8. Which is a sick idea, and I'm sure that the Republicans are just slobbering over the idea of it. So I'm surprised that none of the Republicans stood up and said something, because they're representatives of the people too. And over again, people like Paul Ryan and all these other establishment cunt Republicans and Democrats said Donald Trump is not fit to be president. Which that seems like a reason to pause and debate. You know, there's a reason this is in the Constitution, to pause and debate if they think that there's really something to be concerned about the election or the president that's being put into place. I don't remember this happening, the protest happening during the Barack Obama election. I know that they happened during the Bush election. I certainly remember them in 2001 when but I mostly remember it because of Michael Moore's movie Fahrenheit 9/11. At the beginning of Fahrenheit 9/11, they show this electoral college certification, and the congressmen, the members of the House of Representatives, stepping up to say, "Hey, we're protesting. We believe this election should be contested," which the 2001, if any election should have ever been contested, that was one of them that should have been. And again, none of the senators stood up to sign to say, yes, we agree. So, you know, this is put into the Constitution for a reason, for this to be able to happen. And then none of you senators have the balls to actually do what you're there to do in Washington, D.C., which is to represent your constituents. And if you have thousands or hundreds of thousands of constituents that are saying, hey, we're outraged by the outcome of this election, and you've been on TV repeatedly saying Donald Trump is not fit to be president, then why don't you have the balls to actually step up to represent the people that put you in office to be represented by? To represent them. Why are you such a pussy douchebag? Paul Ryan. And where the fuck is Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders, how many times did Bernie Sanders say Donald Trump is not fit to be president? That's why we all got to rally around Hillary Clinton. Fuck you, Bernie. What, we're going to go down without a fight? We're just going to go with a little whisper? Every single Democratic member of the Senate should be fired, including Bernie Sanders, who isn't a Democrat, should be fired in the next election, because when they had an opportunity to stand up and be counted, they sat on their fucking hands because they're pussy douchebags who don't really represent the people. Okay? And this needed to be said. I'm sorry, taking up your time. My name's Mike. It's my YouTube page. If I think something needs to be said, I'm going to say it on my YouTube page. But I wanted you to see this video. I wanted to say something about it. I wanted to be clear about why it is that I'm saying that the Democrats should be fired. It's not because I don't like Democrats. Democrats and Republicans are the fucking same. There's no difference. They should be made illegal. Those two parties should be made illegal in the United States and start over with like 7 parties. And then every 10 years we add 2 more parties or 3 more parties, whatever. This is really, our government is being led by elitist pieces of shit who basically belong in prison, who all have blood on their hands, who all have ties to the military industry, who all stand there and lie and say, oh, the Russians are, we got to go to war with the Russians. The Russians? Fuck you, lying pieces of shit. You understand what you're doing? You're losing every bit of credibility. You're making clear you don't represent the people. And then you're lying in their faces and making it look like Putin has more credibility than you pieces of shit that were put up there to represent us. And you're refusing to do your jobs. You're low-life pieces of garbage that need to go to prison as soon as possible. The sooner the better. As soon as you can get to prison, the world will be a better place. That's the facts, Jack. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Mike. I really could use some help. I'm not getting any donations. You guys, I wouldn't come out here and ask you for help and ask you for money. I wouldn't waste your time. I wouldn't waste my time if I didn't need it. I need some hard drive space now, tomorrow. I'm out. I'm out of hard drive space. Okay? And I got to pay for $250 worth of domains. I need some help. Okay? And I wouldn't ask for it. And it's not like, if you think I don't deserve it, then why the fuck are you watching these videos? I mean, I get it if you can't help. If you can't afford $5, please don't struggle to send me $5. I don't even want it from you. I mean, I need it, but I'm not asking you who can't afford it. I'm asking all of you people who come here day after day and watch these videos that I spend hours and hours and hours posting, putting my ass on the line, expressing who I am, in order to help people open their eyes and see what's really happening. For the love of humanity. My love of humanity. In hopes of a better world tomorrow. If that's not good enough, if me spending hours and hours every single fucking day is not good enough for you to kick down $5 in my bowl, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Okay? Maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, my name's Mike. Could use some help. You can go to Mox News. It's very easy to donate there. In the text body of this video, there's a link. It takes 2 minutes to donate. And it's greatly appreciated. It makes a huge difference in my world. just like I'm trying to make in everyone else's. And that's what you help do. It's help me keep me here so that I can try and open people's eyes and make a little bit of difference in the world. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm asking for help to do. And people want to act like that's way over the top. Whatever. Stay cool. One of these days this war is going to end. Hopefully Mox News will be there on that day. We can all dance together.
Compassion stirred the Buddha to send his monks out into the community. Sworn to chastity and poverty, they wandered the roads, bringing the Buddha's teachings into the world. Go forth, monks, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world. There are beings whose eyes have little dust on them, who will perish if they do not hear the teaching. But if they hear the teaching, they will gain liberation.
The monks exist by begging. We think of begging as kind of a bad thing. Begging in this tradition is a good thing. It's a sign of spiritual purity.
You're not allowed to beg tomorrow's lunch today. Only today's lunch. Then you can't eat from noon until dawn the next day. Then you have to go out and get another lunch. And then in exchange for lunch, you give a lecture. Unless they say we don't want to hear about it, then you don't. But that's the only thing but that forces you to interact with the lay community.
And if you're not serving them, if you're not doing something useful for them, they won't put anything in your bowl, and that will be the end of your community.